a wanderer of the soul. Before the end, I plan to behold. But I know I'll lose myself along the way. What's gone is gone. What's past is past. Let me leave what belongs in the past. The road ahead is quite unclear. Let me walk it despite fear. The road stretches over the hills, and I've got many debts to pay. Some are on their own way. My pay is not gold.
Hello everyone and welcome back to Kingmaker. Dearly beloved, we are gathered here today to enjoy the union of holy and excrement, because holy excrement, that last session, wow. Oh wow. It could have gone bad, but then Magic Druid made our fighter grow, and thanks to flanking with BB the Bear, wow, all turned around. It was some awesome stuff. I'm back as ever with Dave, Greg, Jack and Lexi. I'm Mark Alexander, your GM for this game. Hello. Welcome back to RollTales and welcome back to Kingmaker. You lot, well done. Well done. Got a bit close there for a second, but you pulled it back. How you feeling?
Always feeling great.
Yeah.
I am, over the time between the sessions, emotionally recovering from the prospect of losing BB.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But it all worked out in the end.
You good, my friend?
Oh, absolutely.
That bear was a difference maker last time. That flank on Cressel really came through. MVP! Best bear. Best bear. Much love for BB. But yes, well done. And I mentioned it last time, and so I'll mention it here. The game has changed slightly, and we're going to integrate it into the story. To give you a bit of a tease before we turn on the recap, I've added an optional rule to the game, one that I think perfectly fits the way we're playing our version of Kingmaker, or the way it's been going with our version of Kingmaker. I think this optional rule works well for what this group and what we are collectively doing. So, for those keeping track at home, we are playing the optional rules of free archetype, and now we've added the optional rule of gradual ability boosts. For those of you who are not aware, it's simple. Instead of getting ability boosts at levels 5, 10, 15 and 20, the characters pretty much get an ability boost at every single level. I think it's except for levels 6 and 10 ? Need to remind myself. But regardless, the characters will now receive an ability boost, which is an improvement to their state, to their scores. And we're going to RP out today why these characters have made the decisions and what they have done, because it did get close. And, well, I want to see in today's session, if the party are down and game through, of course, what sort of effect that has had on the party. As Dave said, felt a bit, need a bit of time. Nearly lost BB, and we nearly lost Isobella and Kelvhan as well. It worked out well. But how are the party doing? Let's do the recap and let's find out. So, the last time we played Kingmaker, our party of adventurers battled Cressel at the Fawn River camp and her bandits. Things were not looking good. Kelvhan was down and dying. Isobella was down and dying. But the tag team of Balruk, Silverstone and Bramblebeard tore into Cressel using the flank. They got her hit points down to the last quarter. So much so that her lackeys managed to take Bramblebeard out seemingly. But she was still bad enough where she had to take a 5-foot step, drop one of our hatchets, and chug a potion. This proved to be her final mistake. But Anden saw the opportunity, approached Balruk, and using a large person spell, made the dwarf grow to the size of a giant. He brought his mates down upon Cressel's head, and with a nice critical hit, that was it for Cressel. And that was it for the bandits in turn, because Balruk followed that up with another strike, using the third macro, using the third map. Took out another bandit as well. So, a giant dwarf crushing their foes left and right. That was it. Total demoralized, total morale break. GG for the party. And Kelvhan and Isobella and Bramblebeard were fortunate. They lived to see another day. Isobella and Kelvhan making their dying condition rolls, and BB getting healed just in time. With the surrendered bandits, they had a chat with them, the party did, and well, they discovered lots of information about the Stag Lord. Apparently he likes to drink, and apparently he's now so drunk that they barely see him anymore when they go and deliver his alcohol shipments. However, no matter how rattled that this Stag Lord seems to get, well, apparently still a dead shot with his bow. And also, there seems to be some sort of old man that inspired fear in the Lake Cressel, living in the basement underneath the Stag Lord's fort. Interesting times. Interesting bits of information. But the party decided to group up the bandits, take a wagon that the bandits had stolen, and proceed back to Oleg's trading post. And that's where we're going to bring the game back in for today. Alright. Oh, I hit the wrong button. We're not going to bounce back. We've got some mapping to do. Come on, Foundry. There we go. Alright. Welcome back to the Stolen Lands. It's still Toil Day. Barris 23rd, 4710. And, well, I need to ask the party first and foremost, are you setting out that day, aka the day of the fight? Or are you taking the night first, healing up, and then setting out? What would you like to do?
Absolutely the latter.
Alright. So, you take the night, and you've got plenty of time. We'll keep this nice and easy. You can make the necessary medicine checks. You can heal yourself back up to full, and you can clear respective wounded conditions. The fight concluded just before 2 PM in the afternoon, so you got more than enough time to sort yourselves out. But I'm going to ask the party as the day turns to night. That was a close one. How are they doing internally? Anden, we'll start with you. What's going on? Oh,
I think Anden probably realized how invested he'd become in the rest of these people. I think it's fairly obvious to everybody else that he's warmed up to the party. But having been alone for so long, they're slow to recognize it. Because when everybody started going down, I think Anden, who felt prepared to support these young'uns, keep them safe, was only just able to do so. There's a sort of solemn understanding that once again they are in this dangerous place, and while they've been able to take care of themselves, they've taken on this burden of the rest of everybody, and it's going to take a lot more concentration, preparation, and I don't know, a lot more. And I think in terms of talking about the ability boosts from the optional rule, I think that's reflected best in both charisma and then wisdom.
All right. So Anden has boosted his wisdom and his charisma. Let's move on to Kelvhan. Not just about the ability boost, but that was an awesome tie-in. Thank you very much, Dave.
Yeah.
What's going through Kelvhan's mind? He had another close one.
Once again, Kelvhan has to face the terms of his own mortality. Like, as an elf, he can live for a long time. And realizing that twice within less than a month, he's almost died out here, he's beginning to realize he's not prepared for the outside world at all. He's definitely more in his element when he was dealing with Tartuccio and trying to find ways around what Tartuccio was doing, but when it comes to the nature of the world itself, he's beginning to realize he's not prepared at all.
All right. So you had 2 boosts, one at level 2, one at level 3. What you boosting?
I've put 1 into Constitution and 1 into Charisma.
What's your con now?
My con is now 16.
Not bad for a Magus. All right. Balruk. Had a good fight for you, actually, but tricky for the others. What's going through your head as you bunker down this toiled A night?
Yeah, so it's interesting for Balruk because, when he set off on this adventure, he kind of had this idea of what it would be like, and we saw very early on that he wasn't necessarily prepared for like the fighting and the killing and the stuff that would happen on this adventure. But the longer that things have gone on, the stronger he's kind of started to become, the more he's been able to protect these people that he now cares about, that he's partied with. He's kind of gone through this transformation where he eventually became okay with what they were doing. We saw that shift with him before the battle with Tartuccio. But then this time, he almost took a step further and is a little surprised of himself to find that he actually rather enjoyed himself in the battle. He enjoyed the fighting and the adrenaline and the action that was happening. Now, on the flip side of that, he was terrified at the prospect of losing his allies, and I think that's part of what bolstered him to rise up at the end and be able to hit those final blows and kind of turn the fight over. But he's definitely in a strange spot because he doesn't know how to feel about the fact that he's almost finding himself to be enjoying the fighting a little bit. But because of his desire to protect the people that he's grouped with, and then because of the newfound confidence he's finding within himself, I decided for his ability boost, he took 1 boost into Constitution and then 1 into Charisma.
Very nice. Okay. So Anden reflects on the day's events. Let's finish up with Lexi and let's go to Isobella. Isobella, 3 levels in. Some of that rust is getting knocked off, but it's getting knocked off pretty hard. How's she doing?
Emotionally, Isobella is like outwardly fine. But inwardly, she's starting to remember a lot of what it was like in her younger adventuring days, traveling alone. And she's feeling like she's been, frankly, in her eyes, a little too gentle. And a little too nice. She feels like she got in way closer than she needed to. She took risks that she shouldn't have taken. She feels like she should have known better, and she's not been acting properly, and so she's just going to play. She's going to play her hand a little meaner than she used to.
Okay. So, what have you boosted?
She has increased her dexterity to. I've increased her dexterity to reflect the knocking the rust off and getting used to her old skill set again, becoming more familiar with her rifle. And I've also increased her constitution, as all of the traveling and such is improving her base physicality from the activity rather than sitting around at home knitting.
Nice. Okay. So, unless you want to do any subsisting, then please mark off a ration for the toil day as well as we move into World Day Faris 24th. Okay. So, today's weather is actually very overcast. It looks like it could drizzle at any moment, but the rain is holding off for now. And it's now kind of weird today because it seems like that this is the most stable that the weather has been for quite a while. Anden, would you like to make your, potentially up to you, would you like to make your weather check for today?
Yeah, I would love to.
Secret survival roll then, please. Okay, and then this weather is going to hold for today. It looks like it's going to rain, but you're absolutely confident it won't. And you're so confident that it's kind of worrying. You know, erratic weather patterns is worrying enough in this sort of high fantasy setting, but as this place is used to such weather patterns, it's kind of like the Uno reverse card, Dave. As you're going to have a day which seems to be stable, that's unusual for this region.
It feels portentous in as much as we've done the right thing and we're moving along the right path and we're being rewarded for it, is the way that I'm going to interpret it.
If that's your are you asking me if that is it? Are you asking me if that's the interpretation, or is that your interpretation?
I think that's my interpretation. I think that's what Anden thinks. It is weird. Takes a second to process that, but it makes sense. And because there's something going on that is tied to their duty as a druid, and whether or not that is the case, having a positive outlook, taking what you get. It's what's it called? Mindfulness.
Okay, so Anden is So you've loaded the bandits all up to the wagon, everything all together. You've got enough speed to still have the 2 actions per day. You've done a weather roll. I won't lie, it was critically successful. So I'm going to give you a bonus to your navigation check in regards to getting back to Oleg's trading post. Again, the weather is oddly stable for this region. Taking it as a good sign, actually. It's conspicuous, but you take it as a good sign now that you're doing your druid duties, that you're on the right track. So, and then, as you're going to hot-foot it, so to speak, back to Oleg's trading post, let's have that secret survival navigation check, please. And yeah, take an extra +1 from for circumstance.
Okay.
Right. Okay. Party disappear.
Ooh.
Hmm.
Where have we gone?
And
Hey,
you
look, we're at the Stag Lord's fort. Let's go. Battle time.
We're like, how have we gone the wrong way?
Okay. So,
It's all bandits.
dragging a cart full of prisoners through this terrain, a little bit tricky, but you feel confident. You exit the forest, moving at speed. And you make it back to the trading post. Right. Okay. The time when you get there is going to be... It's going to have to be late into the evening, so... Let's say 2000 hours. Let's say 8 PM. Let's just adjust the overlay date. And what I'm going to do, for the sake of ease, when we come back in to the trading post, is we're just going to hand wave the, dealing with the prisoners, hitching up the horses, the wagon, etc. So we're going to jump back in after you have finished all of that. So let's return to Oleg's trading post. Alright, let's change the time of day. Change the lighting situation. There we go. Evening has fallen. So apparently, according to Kelvin's token, for some reason he's apparently still dying. Don't know why. Let's just try and delete him for a second and put him back on the board. Let's see if that will work.
And now I'm vanished.
No, and yeah, you're dying. So you're still dying for some reason. Oh well. But everyone has awoken, well rested and everything. So once again, the trading post is your Easter egg. Floor is yours. What would you like to do?
Well, apart from dropping off the prisoners, do we need to do anything?
Yes, actually.
Yes, we do. We have a couple things to do. But prisoners is probably a good place to start. So I feel like as we enter, we should probably just wave over, Clay, who's right there.
We just hand waved the prisoners.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They are in... I'm going to put some tokens for them. They are in the middens at the back of the fort.
Now, first things first, I would like to speak to Oleg.
Alright. Feel free to proceed. Felix
Oh.
is by the table and he'll turn around and say, if you're looking for Oleg, welcome back, by the way. He's in the office.
Thank you, thank you.
Yeah, I'd like to talk to Felix at some point because I know we need to chat him up.
Which one's the down office? I haven't even been into this building. Oh,
First
hello.
door on the right.
This room is not lit. I cannot see a person.
Oh, I didn't put a light in there. That's why.
Sitting in the
Oleg,
dark,
are you in here? Or are you
brooding.
Svetlana just sitting in the dark?
Fully
like-
is Batman. Confirmed.
We like it in the dark, right?
Okay, bye then.
I closed the door. Like,
Not like that, Isobella.
There we go.
Yeah, there we go. Let there be light. Yeah, you see Oleg and Sevlana seemingly talking about what's been happening recently, Isobella.
Was that a question or what they're talking about?
What they're talking about.
Ah, right. Oleg,
Oh,
do you
hello,
have a
Isabel.
moment?
Welcome back, and of course I do. Where would you like to speak? In here? Or...
Here's fine. Please, I'm an old lady. I haven't time for pleasantries.
Okay. Say so. Come on in.
Was there not an alchemist, you said, who lived in the area, was supposed to come by the fort?
Oh, Watkin. Yeah. He has been by since. He just, well, honest truth, he just turned up at a different date and time than what he usually does. No rhyme or reason for it. He just, came a few days later than what he usually does. Said he was working on something.
Oh, anything interesting?
No, I don't know. I'm not gonna lie. Watkin is, a little out there. Sometimes it's a bit hard to understand him.
All right. Well, just glad to know there isn't someone else out there we need to go and rescue. That was all. Thank you, Oleg.
Oh,
do
do you want to know
appreciate
where
it.
his hut? Do you want to know where his hut is, though?
That wouldn't hurt.
And I'll put it mechanically, for the sake of speed and ease. His hut is 2 hexes to the east of the trading post.
Wonderful.
Thank you very much, Oleg.
No problem.
And I'll wander out the door and be halfway out before I say bye.
Take care.
All right. So, back out into the main courtyard you go. You see the noble guard, well, former noble turned merc, I suppose, Kestin Garrus, with the half-home boys, and he says, good job with the bandits. Very good job. I believe that's 3 or 4. Let's see, how many did he want for his quest? Kill or capture, defeat. Oh no, he wants 6 of them, and he goes, yeah, you're halfway there. You can bring us some more bandits or eliminate them with proof, then yeah, that will send a very clear and poignant message to this stag lord. But I'm not gonna lie, well done.
Oh,
Do these count? And I'll pull out all the silver amulets that we got.
Yeah, I picked up all 7 of them, so I'll just dump the pile of those on the table.
I'm one of their lieutenants.
He smiles and he says, yeah, this will do. This will do nicely. I will have to send them off to... I'll have to take them off your hands and send them off to Restov. For proof, of course. Well, 3 of them at least. The other 3 will do, but a deal is a deal, so... Quest complete. I'll put this in... Oh, sorry, go ahead, Isabella.
Sorry, go on.
No, I was just going to say, essentially, quest complete, so let me put this into the loot box. You earn a total of 30 gold pieces. Let's add another 30. Yep, and 30 experience points.
Sweet.
Lovely. I'll give him 3 of the amulets. I'll keep the other 4 to just sell them for the value of silver.
No worries. Quest completed.
Well, Felix, got some good news for you.
Oh, do tell.
We found that fella you've been looking for. Know exactly where to find him.
Oh, and perchance where might he be?
Oh, you're gonna love this one. Your good buddy there, Akaros, was last seen standing right side by side with the Stag Lord himself.
Akiros, sorry. Felix looks at you, absolutely not surprised in the slightest. Huh. Fool. Still looking for a place to belong, I see. Thank you for that information. Do you have a locale on him?
We do. We know exactly where the Stag Lord's fort is. So I was hoping, based on what you said the last time, that you'd be willing to come with us.
He looks at you, maybe reading your tone slightly wrong, but he looks at you as if to say, well, no sugar. As he just says, well, of course. I made a deal, and if you wish my assistance, I am happy to give it.
Well, wonderful then. It'll be a good time.
Yes, I must admit, Yes, Anden with a very poignant reminder there in the game chat. Remember to rest and heal all the HP. But yeah, he looks at you and he says, well, I'm not sure about a good time, but I must admit I would be happy to see him personally. Again, I'm just a man who is not stuck, but I'm a man who lives by his values. He's gonna hang, but he does deserve the fair trial, and I want to make sure he gets it. Speaking of which,
I'm guessing you'd rather see him not hang.
he turns and he looks and he says, I am honestly of two minds. I was working on his case with my ward, a young investigator by the name of Alexander, and well, Alexander determined that he is a man who is potentially not beyond redemption. However, if he were to hang, then it is also deserved. It is an interesting case, and it's the primary reason why I was sent with power and authority to enact it, because it is literally straight down the line. What Akiros did caused such a splash that there was corruption in Taldor, worthy enough where, well, to put it plainly, the nobles tried to bump him off behind everyone's back, overruling, going against the justice system that we have. It's... Do you know much of Taldor, Balruk?
I've heard the occasional story, things like that. That it's a very fancy place, but not very particular things.
Taldor is a wonderful place. It is my home, and I would defend it to the death. But even I won't lie. Some of the stuff that I have seen in my own home nation worries me sometimes. Whether the gods that one day there might even be a war for the crown. It's a wonderful place, but yeah, there is a reason why they sent a lone detective thaumaturge out into the middle of nowhere to ensure that one of its citizens gets a fair trial.
Seems like a place full of politicking. It's How you see it?
I went to Oosterlov to study my skills. I went all the way out to Lepidstad. And while I was there, I saw such a different way of life. Oosterlov is quite an extraordinary experience. Yeah. I saw much and I learnt much. I had dinner with vampires. I negotiated with werewolves. And I learned of elven scholars. I even met a talented alchemist from Corvosa. And I met men who fear what their own home could become in the years. And it was just same problems, just well, not exactly the same problems, it's just what's the saying? The more things change, the more things stay the same. Sorry, I apologize, Balruk. I'm waffling on. It's being here studying my books has given me some time to think, you know.
Oh, don't worry about it. You should meet my father sometime. He says lots of things.
Well, regardless, yes, whenever you're ready to proceed and find this stag lord, then you will have my skills at your disposal. So let me give you some information about Felix. Felix is a level 3 thaumaturge with a detective background, and also if you're playing with free archetype, he's playing with free archetype. Felix has the free archetype of the investigator. So what Felix can do for you is essentially a bunch of lore rolls, especially that thaumaturge's esoteric lore roll, and he has got some unusual skills. His primary weapon of choice appears to be a bastard sword that has been augmented into one of his implements. So just mechanically speaking, I wanted to let you all know who you've got on your side, because how Felix will basically roll is if and when you get into an encounter mode scenario with Felix, a bit like a tactical game like XCOM or Command & Conquer, I will want you to tell me roughly per round what you want Felix to do, and I will interpretate the information you give me to the best of my ability. I think that keeps things nice and fair. Basically, is that cool with everyone at the table?
Yep.
Sounds fine by me.
Yep.
Yeah, and I'm happy not to want to take control, but to potentially ease the burden on you of having to play an actual character as well as all of the NPCs in combat. If we had a character sheet for him, like as a group, we could maybe like actually play him between us. Up to you, obviously, how you want to play that, but I would be happy to personally pick his turns or whatever, if it speeds things up.
Well, I'll tell you what, we can try it either way, but
Okay.
I'll tell you what, in the player character section now, you should have, all of you have access to Felix's character sheet.
Ooh.
Ooh.
Yes. Ooh.
Ooh.
Have his weight and his height and everything.
I was gonna have an unarmed strike, everything. Felix, why are you doing that stuff?
So I might as well show the folks at home, because I'm not going to lie, Felix, I'm not going to lie about this, I wanted to give the Thaumaturge a spin. And yeah, I'm not going to lie about that. I wanted to give the Thaumaturge a spin. It seems like a really interesting class. And when I came up with this character, I found interesting ways I could hook and plot him into this campaign, thanks to Akiros, who is actually written in the book. So a little bit of behind the GM screen here for a second. So Felix is level 3, 35 HP max, AC of 19. His stats, they're going to get boosted because I'm going to roll. If you got the ability boosts, he gets them too. Yeah, as a matter of fact then, if we're going to game this a little bit, which I don't mind at all, let's game it a little bit. Where do you want his 2 boosts to go? Now, if for those who don't know about the Thaumaturges, they are basically summed up like this. Hi, Mr. Bad Guy, do you have a weakness? No. Would you like one? And they do this via their esoteric lore roll, which is charisma based. So charisma is actually his key ability. At the moment, he's pretty evenly spread across the board, with a dex of 10, 14 in charisma, intelligence, and wisdom. 14 in intelligence, charisma, and strength, another 10 in wisdom, and a 12 in constitution. Where would you like him to boost? Where do you think he'll be the best? How will he best help you?
He has absolutely been imp and charisma ring.
Yeah.
As you've said, he has been imp and charisma ring.
I was literally going to say that based on all of our interactions with him. Yeah, charisma and intelligence all the way.
All right. Int 16, charisma 16. Greg, Lexi, you good with that?
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. So Felix is boosted. Let's see. For those who know the Thaumaturges, they get implements. His implement is the Bastard Sword. It's his weapon. And he's also got interesting abilities where he can call his implement to his hand if it's been disarmed from him. And I believe
Always
he's
handy.
Yep. Let's see. Bonds of ownership. Let's have a look. His weapon can teleport to his hand as long as it's free. He can exploit vulnerability, and he also has an interesting feat as well. He has the Trick Magic Item feat. Plus some investigator abilities like Clue In, and he's got the Taldane heritage ability of keeping up appearances. Where basically if you take a shed ton of damage, he can make a deception check to try and shrug it off in the face of the enemy. Like, oh, was that your biggest punch? Ha, nothing. So, yes. And for a bit of RP flavour, he is a follower of Desna as well, because he is a member, extended member, of a certain family. Jack. Alright.
Yep.
So, Felix will give you a hand, as per the agreement, in hunting down Akiros. So he just turns around and says, let me know whenever you're needed, whenever you need me, and I will get my gear. So, anything else you want to... Yeah, anything else you want to do at the trading post?
Yeah, I'd like to make an order, or place an order.
Awesome. What would you like to order?
I would like to order some small or medium creature-sized light barding.
Alright. Oleg is definitely going to do that. It will take another week for that to get here. Technically, according to the game, I'm supposed to roll sort of like a dice roll. I think it's 2d6 plus something, and to be honest with you, that's just confusing for me to do that every single time, so I'm just going to roll a week to make it easy for me, if that's cool with everybody.
Absolutely.
Yeah, so interestingly enough, your shopping order from the first order is actually going to be here in a few days' time on the 27th. And I will let you know mechanically as well, because I think in-game you can figure this too as well. Because you've taken out the Thorn River Bandits, and the Stag Lord is apparently incredibly lazy now, according to those bandits, Oleg's trading post is going to be safe for the foreseeable future. And when I say foreseeable future, I mean a good few months at least. So you do have options, because Kingmaker is definitely a campaign where I think it's going to be the first proper campaign as well. Maybe next to Quest for the Frozen Flame, where you could even really play with the downtime mode of Pathfinder if you want to, especially when we come to the Kingdom terms. But regardless, I digress. So, Anden, your barding order will come through to the trading post on World Day Faris 31st.
Okie dokie. That's fantastic.
Also,
And for those, I suppose, I was kind of vague about it. Yeah, we're going to get BB armor.
BB armor. Nice.
It makes sense. It's BB got hurt. Is there anything I can do to help this? Hold on a minute. And then, like, writing up the plans, there's like moments of Anden like holding BB up by the front paws, so she's standing on her back legs, and getting somebody to like measure her, like in hands or whatever, because they don't have tape measures. So we're just taking their measurements.
I'm dropping this into the shopping order loot box to collect once it's here. What exactly are you buying her again?
Light barding.
Light barding. Okay, so 10 gold pieces.
Yep, I took that off my character sheet.
I trust you, my friend. It's all good. All right.
Oh, Mark, do you mind hitting the button to share the gold out, by the way?
Oh. Whoops. How do I do
No
that?
worries. I should be on the party loot sheet if you... There's a...
Oh,
button
distribute
that's like-
distribute coins.
Eh.
You know what? I have been running this system for maybe nearly a year now on Foundry. Did not know about that.
Happens.
Hey Greg, that would have made things in Rise of the Rune Lords a hell of a lot easier.
Yep.
It used to be a separate module, but got rolled into one of the core ones, is my understanding. So I don't think you've missed it the whole time.
By their powers combined, this is distribute coins.
Oh, there's 2 and 1 left over.
Nice.
So there's 2 gold pieces left over and 1 silver piece left over. What if I distribute that again, if it'll go into silvers? Let's have a look.
I don't
One
think
more.
it will.
I want to try.
I was really hoping it wouldn't quite differentiate and give BB some of the money.
No, it actually gave me a box of who I can select and send the coinage to.
Okay.
There's gonna be augur if like Felix got some.
But Foundry, thank you very much for that module, by the way, because yeah, that's a helpful one. Because a bit about my Foundry gameplay style, folks, is I don't like to turn on too many modules, because hence why I still like the dice rolls to be called, because I don't want to rely on the Foundry too much. So, for example, if I ever run a Pathfinder 2e table game, I'm not relying on my modules, but that one is lovely. Thank you, Foundry. So yeah, we can sort out those 2 gold pieces, and let me think. So that's 20 silver. Hold on a second. So 2 gold is 20 silver pieces. So that's 21. Right. If I distribute that should go. So there's 1 silver piece left over. That's 10 copper pieces.
It's okay. We'll pay for some food at OLX.
No, take your money, damn it. There you
You
go.
will take your money.
You will take your money. And there's 2 copper left over.
Throw it in a well.
Okay.
Have a wish.
Oh, okay then. Oh, that's interesting. Let's have a giggles roll.
Right.
Roll me a D100 and tell me what you're wishing for.
Awkward.
It's all right.
Embarrassed.
It's all right.
Embarrassed.
No, please don't be. This is a giggle roll. This is just for a bit of fun. And who knows, if you roll high, maybe fate is smiling upon you. Remember, we've had some divine intervention in this game before.
Anden wishes they could see their partner again.
All right. We'll see what happens. As you make an offering of some copper and rolled a 78 on that D100. The D100 doesn't get used a lot in this game, folks. Alright. So, what else is on the doctrine, my party?
I would like to ask that we set the alcohol shipment aside, not to be used for consumption, because we have identified it as a group as something of potential strategic value. So please don't drink it, Guards and Oleg.
Alright. They look at you interestedly, but if you explain why, the Heartfoams and Keston will on agreement and say solid plan, and yeah, even Felix will give a thumbs up to that one. He'll just say, "Ah, yes, and you acquired some uniforms too, I believe."
We can see which looks the most likely at the time.
Very well.
We could, when we get there, decide, are we doing the sneak in with the stuff, pretend to be bandits, withhold it and try and play the long game, or just poison them?
Yeah.
Which is Anden's play. It's like, I know a bunch of poisonous things. We could just poison the camp with booze.
I'm getting strong Dishonored vibes here now.
Yeah, I mean, like, I would love for them to have the poison condition when we fight them. That'd be great. But
All right.
everybody else was coming up with different plans, so just like set it aside for now. When we're doing the actual planning for that stage, we can work it out.
So yeah, let's talk this out then. What is the game plan, team? I know there was a rough one, sort of like here, Temple of the Elk, beat up the Stag Lord, go to the pub, wait for this all to blow over, etc., etc. But yeah, circumstances have cropped up. You have an aid of an ally. You've got a shop coming in a couple of days' time on this upcoming Star Day. How would you like to proceed?
My personal preference is heading to the Temple of the Elk.
Yeah, we said we would accompany you to that anyway.
And then probably come back, pick up the stuff. Maybe. Well, I'm the only one who's waiting for a second shipment. So depending how long things take, or if we get into a situation with this Tatzel worm that we're looking for, or another side quest pops up. I don't think we're in a rush now, which is nice.
No,
So I think we just play it one quest at a time.
Yeah, we could do that. We can go to the temple or whatever, then come back for the shipment, or maybe we can always just take a week of downtime and then try and leg it from there.
Sounded for a second like Mark was going to disagree with you on not being in a rush.
No. All I was just actually going to say was just to reiterate. I've mentioned that now that you've taken out the Thorn River camp, you've definitely got a lot of breathing space now, and I'm just saying I was just going to say it's not a meta game stretch. Due to what you have learned as characters as well. You think you have bought yourself some time.
I stand corrected.
I would never disagree with you all.
It's all good. I want to go to the Temple of the Elk.
Yeah, you would.
Correct.
Wow.
Sounded
Wow.
overly aggressive.
Wow. Yeah, you would. Think you put a point into charisma, not out of charisma?
That's what I'm doing for intimidation. Do you feel intimidated?
Oh, right.
No.
Do you feel intimidated? Some people have
On a
said to me,
scale of 0 to 10, how intimidated do you feel currently?
You feel lucky, Pug?
the Balruk question, the Balruk Silverstone questionnaire. On a scale of 1 to 10, how intimidated do you feel? If you answer this survey, I will give you 1 copper in feedback.
Hmm.
But no, in all seriousness though, somebody commented on a video recently that the ghost of Forfall should appear every now and then to make an appropriate
Ooh.
comment for you lot and then just disappear back into the aether. But I don't know. I like references, but sometimes, yeah, no, I don't know. But
The
anyway,
ghost of fourth wall is the references we make along the way.
wow,
Absolutely.
wow. But all right
I
then.
got it
So
right.
I get the impression that it's Temple of the Elk, bounce back, pick up gear, and go pay the Stag Lord a visit.
Yes. So I guess Felix will probably be staying here for the first trip, because I'm assuming he doesn't want to come along to the Temple of the Elk.
Felix will be polite, but he will decline. He's been after this man for a long time, and if he's going to go down potentially from this, then he wants to go down in pursuit of his own quest and target.
That's fair. Oh, Balruk did want to ask him, probably with Anden around as well, if he came upon any further information on Old Sharktooth and all those books of his.
That's right. Well remembered.
Let's see. Now, it's been a few weeks since we played, so I'm not going to lie, I need a quick reminder myself. I've got something in my mind, but what is it you wanted him to look into again? It was Old Sharktooth specifically, but, you know, what was the details, if you can remember?
We drew a sketch, I remember, of the idol for him. I don't remember that.
We were still, well, we had not managed at any point to roll any kind of knowledge about them, except, hey, it's really weird that they're worshipping a devil rather than something draconic. I'm worried that something's going to happen. He had a witch of some kind, or like a warlock, who disappeared into thin air. Something weird is going on. You're a person who knows about weird things, was the gist of it.
Mm-hmm.
All right, so he is going, because he hasn't had a lot of time, so I'm going to say this is going to fall under his basic esoterica, but he will have a +1 circumstance bonus for pursuing a lead. He has marked this an area of investigation for himself.
Ooh.
He only rolled a 13, and he politely says to you, I will not lie to you, I'm afraid, that I haven't really had a lot of time to look into this yet. The sketch that you gave me is a good starting ground, but there is a magnitude of devils, demons. I know the spell as well, but I just need a bit more time on it. A couple of days is not enough. I'm good, but I'm not that good.
I shouldn't expect really that you've had much extra brain space apart from, your quarry in the first place.
Well, my primary focus, Anden, is learning about the stolen lands. Just in case, well, if you were / are to fall, then I will proceed on my own. And I need to know as much as I can about out there first before I take my first step, even if that knowledge is limited.
You're willing to wait for us to get back, though, right?
Oh, of course. I'm confident in your abilities, and you've just taken on an entire bandit camp, so I'm sure you can do it. Whatever it is you need to do out there, I'm sure you can do it.
Let's see if that's true.
By the way, are you planning on taking the horses back out again?
Yes.
Well, oi.
Word of advice. I noticed you didn't buy any feed for them last time. Now I know you can look after them, there is a druid in your party after all, but trust me, a little horse feed goes a long way for a good loyal horse.
But they don't have any in the shop. How do we feed the horses with no feed?
I'm going to presume, because I must admit, when I set up Oleg's shop, I forgot about the horses myself.
Yeah,
So-
I figured. I was just pulling your leg.
Aw. But yes, I will say for this time out into the Stolen Lands, we'll be playing, like I said, we're getting used to it now. So today, or this time around, heading out next time, we will introduce actual feeding the horses as well and doing it a bit more via the book, so to speak. So, yes, you'll need
Let's
to purchase some horse feed.
If you've got 3 horses, a week's worth of horse feed is 1 copper. So if we pay
Oh.
3 copper, we should be good.
Yeah.
Okay.
I threw mine in a well. Did anybody keep theirs?
Hold on a second. I'm just going to add to the shop of Oleg's trading post. I'm actually going to add standard feed. Now he has claptrap, so a standard feed, a bit like rations, lasts for 7 days, and he's got claptrap, makes regular trips back and forth. So I'm going to say Oleg will have, let's make a dice roll for it. Let's say 1d6 plus 3. Oh, max roll. So in the shop now is 9 quantities of horse feed. Each value is worth 1 week.
Right,
Yeah, that's it.
let's grab them.
Yep. Yeah, so 1 copper piece covers a standard feed. You said a feed lasts 1 horse 1 week.
Yes, it's like trail rations for you guys.
Yeah, so why don't we each just pay 3 copper and, well, I guess you could have 3 horses, so yeah. 3 weeks a horse if we just buy all of it.
I know it's
Yeah,
not
right.
a big, I know it's not a big thing, but I think we should do this properly.
Okay.
Obviously, when it comes to a point where you got more money than you know what, then yeah, we won't worry about it. It's a bit like arrows and ammo. When you get to a certain point where I think Lexi, you can already craft ammo without issue now for Isobella.
For Isobella, yes. For my rifle, yes. For my handbow, no.
Right. But you know what I'm getting
But
at
I'm not
there.
going to be using that often anyway.
You know what I'm getting at there. It'll get to that point like it does in any TTRPG where ammo counting is a bit like, yeah. All right.
Someone still hasn't bought their feed. Yeah, I bought my 3.
I think the final horse is actually Isabella's because you got Sonic, haven't you?
Yeah, he's Sonic.
Yeah.
It is. I just don't know how to buy from the merchant.
If you just drag it to your inventory and then do like quantity 3, it'll automatically deduct the cost.
Oh, it's a.
It's like a video game.
But more good.
More
but
good.
More good.
More gooder. More gooder. Right. Okay. So, let's have a look. I'm just checking the shop now, see if Oleg would have anything else in right now. No, he'll get some more stuff in when the delivery comes in, but he wouldn't have anything else right now, unfortunately. So, to the next day and heading out then?
Indeed.
Yes, please.
Okay. So let's wind the time forward. Go to the Stolen Lands.
Wow,
And-
it really does get granular. I'm just like looking at the animal stuff. It's like, oh, you can buy animal treats. I'm gonna buy a shit ton of those when we find some.
Game tip, something that came out from Treasure Vault. Apparently there's now a plaster that you can attach to your body, and this plaster can store a healing potion or any potion inside of it. So instead of using 2 actions to pop a potion, you hit this plaster as 1 action and you activate the potion inside of it.
Wow.
Neat. Yeah, when we're in a city or have time to do bigger stuff downtime, there's so much cool stuff now.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. So, okay. Let's move the time on to Toil Day, I believe. No, Oath Day. Okay. Oh, this is very interesting. Anden, can I have your weather roll, please? If you wish to make it, of course. I beg your pardon, Dave. Don't mean to presume.
Well, no, of course it's. I spent a whole feat point on it. I'm invested in the weather.
It's a bit like one of those players who invests in time sense cantrip.
Yeah. That was meant to be secret.
It's okay.
Shall I reroll it?
No, it's fine. It's fine. At 28. Take a look at the sky. And all of a sudden, you get the sneaking suspicion with confidence that the weather is about to turn very torrentially violent, and getting a bit chilly as well at 5 degrees centigrade. It's going to be a day of torrential rains.
Searching on the thing. Can you buy umbrellas?
Probably in
No.
Taldor or in Absalon.
Yeah, I think it's just like a look up. Right, we're gonna need to get the rain gear out, everyone.
Oh, not
Out with the
again.
saddlebags, ponchos.
Honestly, I'm used to the rain at this point in this place.
Yes. I'm still not used to wet boots and wet feet. It's not overly pleasant.
Well, as used to it as you may be, I still wear a raincoat when I got access to one. Always bloody ripping things in them. Yeah, I don't think mechanically there's a huge amount that we can do, rather than... I suggest moving once and then hunkering down.
Instead of getting ourselves lost in the forest, I understand you have somewhere you want to be, Anden. But what if we were to follow the road a little east instead and visit this alchemist Balruk? As a local, he might know a little more about the area that could help us.
Well, it's not a bad idea. If we're going to be setting up shop here in the future, we'll need to know the locals anyway.
I understand it's not ideal for you, but
If that's what you both want.
I think it's up to you. You know more than us how important it is we get to this temple and how fast we need to get there.
Well, I know we need to do it before we go and see the stag lord, but now I'm on the move, I don't think I'm going to get any more ominous dreams about it. By all means, we just got paid for this thing. We can grab some more potions. Whatever he's been making. I've heard weird things about him. But I was also somebody who's lived in this bloody forest. So I got really glass houses and all that.
People do like to say weird things about whoever's not around often.
Okay, so I get the impression you're going to head off to Bocken's hut.
Aye.
Yeah, I think Lexi's right. While we are in danger of getting lost, following the road. makes
Yeah,
sense.
I'm going to say, even in this weather, following the road, you're going to be okay. Roads in this game reduce the DC, the navigation DC, down by a ridiculous amount, and yeah, I'm going to hand wave the DC because it's a straight road. You've done it before, you know it well enough. Feel free to proceed. Okay. So, oh, you're not using the road. You're going straight across the plains.
No, it should be one to the northwest, yeah, because we're following the road.
Okay.
Yeah.
So, I need the party to bounce back to this token for a second, right on the edge of it.
Uh-oh.
Oh no.
Because the weather changes as you proceed onwards.
Do you want here?
Yep.
Right on the edge.
As the rain starts to really come down, heavy, hard, thunder, lightning starts to crackle violently. I will like anybody who is trained, and I'll bring up a toggle here for the chat, to either make me a survival roll or a perception roll.
Is the survival easier than perception?
Not telling you.
Balruk's gonna roll perception.
What?
Why is mine being weird? Let me do this.
Okay. What's up, Lexi?
It's something that I had to ask because, like, everybody gets perception, not everyone gets survival, and your perception is usually going to be higher than your survival regardless. So I was curious, but
It's interesting. The perception is secret, but the survival isn't.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
That's weird.
Whoa.
My perception didn't let me add any like of my wisdom or anything. I just rolled a flat d20.
Yeah, bugger.
Alright. So, I'll actually now answer Lexi's question. The perception DC you needed to hit, Lexi was thinking along the right lines here, with perception score usually being higher. Perception DC was 25. Survival DC was 18.
I think it was a big difference.
So, Anden, you succeeded. Well, it's a bit like a law skill. If you can nail the specific law skill to the specific task, that DC goes down considerably. So, Anden,
I'm gonna get rainbow at some point for this campaign.
Weatherman lore.
it's a fair comment. As you're about to proceed into the next hex in the Rosslyn hinterlands, you notice plumes of smoke and a tang of smoke in the air along the road through this rain?
Oh. Through a thunderstorm? That is a very acrid smoke. Much more likely to be a dangerous fire than a controlled one. And we weren't expecting someone to be setting off bonfires. So... No, that's odd. I can taste smoke. I think something's going wrong down there. Maybe somebody's in trouble. It's treacherous, alright, but I couldn't in good conscience hold up rather than go and see what's going on.
I will actually
I'm
give
behind
this.
you.
Yeah, I will actually going to give this as well because we've actually done this in a flashback story. Kelvhan, as Anden has spoken that out loud, you can make me a public arcana roll.
Sure. 17.
How the hell can there be smoke during a thunderstorm? There is one way. The type of fire that don't, well, one type of fire that don't, well, I'm going to be blunt about this. One type of fire that don't give no shit about no rain. Magical fire. You look up
Yeah.
and you look at the thunderstorm properly for the first time. It's not the same. It's not identical. But this does have twinges of what you felt around a century ago. What I mean by that is this is not the same thunderstorm, but this is a magical storm.
Oh no. Here we go again. Right. This storm isn't natural by any means. Neither is that fire.
And then, as you hear these words from Kelvhan, you look out in front of the road and get an instinctual feeling to look back. Do you?
Yes.
You see through this thunderstorm and heavy downpour, this smoke absolutely billowing through and starting to obscure your vision. A figure in the smoke and the mist. The figure of the cloaked druid from your dreams. They're about 25 feet away, but you can see them. You don't know how, but you can see them. It's almost like you cut through it. This rain, this fog, this smoke, you cut through it like a knife through a hot knife through butter. And the figure nods at you and says, before disappearing from you, "This is the work of Nuglar. Remember the last time you did get involved through your apathy." And as the figure fades,
That's the old man. I got it.
and as the figure fades, that's where we'll close tonight's session of Kingmaker.
Whoa!
Dave's super excited by something.
Yeah.
By Jove, he's got it!
By Joe, I think he's figured it.
I don't know what you've got, but good for you.
So yeah, before, if Dave is willing to share, sometimes I like to do in the other games is a bit of player theory crafting. So, Dave, if you're willing to share, what do you think you clicked?
I think I clicked that this old man that they're talking about is in fact Nugra and the cause of, the weather, storms, whatever's going to be going on at the Temple of the Elk, and also for the rise to prominence of the Stag Lord. And whatever weird is going on with him is going to all be like linked back to this one person.
Are you able to tell us who Nugra is?
Well, I am assuming through this, it's like an evil druid.
Ah, okay.
I think.
was just wondering
It
if
makes me
you knew.
wonder too, and this might just be purely from dice rolls. I don't know, but I find it interesting that after we killed the bandits in the bandit camp, the weather was really calm and chill, and then suddenly it's just gone really over the top, almost like maybe someone found out and is not happy about it.
Anden,
Yeah. Sorry, go ahead.
before we get out of here, actually, let's make this a little bit more interesting. Let's see. Let me look at your skill list for a quickly. Yeah, because this is druid. This is druid stuff. So what I'm going to roll is, before we get out of here for today, public, make me a quick forest law roll in regards to Nugra.
Okay.
Because he certainly has something to do with the forest.
Oh, that's no good. That's an 11.
Remember, but this is a law skill, though.
That's true.
Okay. You're not going to remember much, because you were quite... This was after your spouse disappeared, so you were quite... there was quite a lot of apathy to you at the time. But when we return next time, it's Anden flashback time. If everyone's down for that. So, next session.
Yeah.
Next session is Anden flashback time, and also let's get ready to deal with survival hazard. A survival hazard. I'll tell you what got rolled. Has anybody ever seen a wildfire in a thunderstorm?
Oh boy!
Yay.
Glad we're not in the forest for this.
Oh yeah! Oh
Yeah.
that's bad.
Good shout.
Would you like to see one? Tune in next.
We're going to.
Tune in next session to find out. Thank you very much for watching, and we'll see you next time. Behave, you lot. Bye bye.